Are you giving yourself credit? If you're going to give yourself credit for all the things you do wrong or against yourself, you might as well give yourself credit for all the things you've done rightfully. If you're going to give yourself credit for the BS, give yourself credit for the actions you've taken up until this point. So if you're dealing with shame, blame, guilt, yo, I've been procrastinating and I just feel so bad, I'm just here to remind you all. I'm just here to remind you. This is just a reminding session. A reminding session to, like, yo, give yourself credit. Give yourself credit for the stuff that you're doing that you should be proud of. So a lot of times we judge every part of our lives that's like, yo, I ain't doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not where I need to be. That's because ever since we was a kid, we were punished or rewarded. And we often remember the punishment more than we remember the reward. So basically, not only did we live in a punish and reward society, but we actually subconsciously believe that we deserve to be punished. So because we subconsciously believe that we deserve to be punished, a lot of times we punish ourselves. So what I'm saying is this: if you're going to give yourself credit for all the bad stuff that you did, decisions you made, you got to give yourself credit for the good. This is simply a reminder. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing crazy. This ain't nothing like you never heard before. I'm just here to remind you because I don't know what state of mind you're at right now. So instead of making the mind the same again, let's change up this mind. Let's reprogram the mind, right? So talking about this, what does it mean to give yourself credit? All right, first of all, confidence is built when you say, hey, man, I confide in my ability to perform, right? I confide in my ability to stay true to my word. And the more we confide in ourselves, the more confidence we have. And the more confidence you have, the more you're able to do certain things. The lack of confidence is very draining because you might want to do certain things, but you don't even confide in yourself enough to do it. And because there's a lack of confidence in yourself, it's very hard for you to even act. So a lot of times the lack of action is due to the lack of self-confidence, and the lack of self-confidence is due to the lack of confiding in your ability. Now, somebody asks me, yo, how do I confide in myself more? Which means, how do I believe that I will carry out what I say? How do I believe that not only will I set out to carry and actually make it happen, but do I believe that it can? Self-confidence start with your ability, your confidence, your confide in you. It's hard to confide in yourself if you keep blaming and shaming yourself. You literally can blame and shame and guilt trip yourself to the lack of self-confidence. You can literally blame and guilt yourself into a limiting scope of thinking where you're only thinking about all the things that can possibly go wrong, where you only see potential demise in your life and you don't see the possibilities. When you're like, yo, man, ain't nothing ever go right for me. There's a certain mentality that does not serve you, and that mentality is, it's never worked, it hasn't worked, and it's not going to work. You close off all possibilities the moment that you really believe that things are not going to work out for you. If that's your belief, then guess what's going to happen? That belief will be true. The Look, what you choose to believe will somehow become your reality. So what you believe will become your reality, so you better start believing in yourself. What you believe is going to be your reality, so you better start believing in a future that is going to be much beautiful than the one you're currently experiencing. What you believe will come into fruition, so you best believe the best possible possibility for you. So now, let's go back. What should you be proud of? You should be proud of the fact that, yo, you are a human with a lot of things that has went wrong in your life, but yet you're still going right, which means you're still walking the steps. You should be proud of the fact that you got up today and grateful for the fact that you got up. You should be proud of yourself that you're even watching or listening to this, that you're taking the action steps to personally develop every day. That's something to be proud of. What else should you be proud of? You should be proud of the fact that you've grown up to this level. that you survived this world, that you had enough survival skills to make it to 2021, which means you should give yourself a pat on the back right now. Just the fact that you're here, just the fact that you're still going, just the fact that you're awake and still moving, just the fact that you haven't given up on life, you haven't given up on getting better. So every single time that you realize that, you should be proud of that. You should be proud of showing up. I'm proud of myself for showing up for this, even though you might say, yo, not too much people is listening or watching. You should be proud of for doing a podcast for the last 3 to 4 or 5 years consistently. You should be proud of your consistency. Even though you're not consistent, you should be proud of that. At a micro perspective, every single day you're taking a step towards a specific goal, or just a step of getting better. You have to give yourself credit for the little things, because those little things will acquire into bigger ones. A lot of times all we do is we blame, shame, and guilt trip ourselves, and that is the very thing that causes you not to get to the next level, because blame, shame, and guilt is an emotion that gets housed in your body, and it literally takes up mental real estate. It takes up your manifestation power. It literally drains your power to manifest the more you blame, shame, and guilt. Right? So those emotional states are literally self-inflicted against yourself. So what I want you to focus on today after this is, I need to release that. Because what I know for sure is, if I have a boot on my head, it's not going to help me elevate spiritually. It's just going to keep hurting myself. Suffering is you staying on the ground, holding a boot against your head and pressing it on it very hard and saying, well, at least I feel something. Well, guess what? You don't have to feel pain to feel. You can experience joy. Somebody want to know, how is that even possible? Well, I want to first talk to you about forgiving yourself. One of the major reasons why we can't even enjoy what we have, or the things we're doing, or the progress so far, is because we haven't even forgiven ourselves for what we thought we should have done, we could have done, and we didn't do, or what we did that we didn't like. We're playing both judge and jury to a thing, and we're not even dictating the future. I need you to become a lawyer for yourself, all right? So a lot of us, we're not defending ourselves against ourselves enough. Now, this might sound crazy. You have to defend yourself against your own automatic negative thoughts. What I mean by that is you have to remind yourself who you are, because it's going to pop up. And if you don't defend yourself against your automatic negative thoughts, there will be a time where you will be convinced that you are those thoughts. The moment that you let your thoughts convince you that you are it is the moment you start losing this true essence of who you are. So I say this, record something that says you remember who you are statement. You listen. And then once you find yourself at a point where you're really looking at circumstances and saying, this is me, I want you to go back and remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself how you've grown so far, what you've overcame. Give yourself a motivational speech via audio. Take out your phone, record it, and then listen to it when you find yourself down. Because the quicker you can remind yourself who you are, the quicker you can step into the power that will allow you to transform the state that you're in. Listen, you are not experiencing per se what's wrong with you. You are experiencing the states that you have allowed it to be a common norm, a norm in your life. A lot of times we are hardwiring neural pathways of certain states, and certain triggers cause those states. Certain emotions, certain things, like sometimes even a kid, like happy kid, can actually bring you to a sad space. Because you might see a happy kid and that reminds you of something you didn't do for a kid. So sometimes the opposite of something reminds us of what we failed to do. And what we have to remind ourselves is what we actually did, what we've done, how much work we put in. So let's say this. Let's say you're looking at yourself and you're like, in the scope of how I am to my family, man, I could be a better mother, a better father, I could be a better son, a better daughter. And to some extent, you look at how you've failed in certain areas. Like I didn't meet up to that expectation. I didn't do that. Sometimes expectations become a stick you hit in your head with. Don't let that be a stick. I want you to say, hey, I did expect this out of myself, but I want to give myself credit for me showing up for my family every day. Like, even though there's sometimes I was moody and I acted a certain way, But look at me waking up at 7 a.m. taking care of my kids. But look at me going to work day in, day out to provide for them. But look at me being like, yo, you have to give yourself credit, not just for the times you slipped up, but for the times you stepped up. Like I said, this isn't a session for me to per se educate you. This is to remind you. Ed Talks Daily is a reminding session. I'm here to remind you that if you look at all the things in your life that you think is not going right, you can find a corresponding thing that is going right. And I want you to focus on that. Focus on how do I get more of that? How do I enhance more of this? And you start to go from the lack of self-confidence to the self-confidence to act. You want to confide in yourself. Now, how do you start to build some more of that self-confidence if you're listening here and you want to know, Ed, yo, I want to build some more self-confidence. You have to do things that allows you to confide more and more to yourself. So confidence is on the basis of doing what you said you were going to do, also on the basis of knowing that you are more than what you do. It's also in every time that you do what you say you're going to do, you improve your reputation with yourself. Now, everybody else might not know it, but every time that you say, I'm going to do this, and you do it, you improve. So, how can you improve your self-confidence? Start with a routine. A simple routine can get you the dopamine that you need to even start a momentum, a shift in your life. What they discovered is you only need certain keystone habits to turn everything else. Let's say you feel really bad about your physical body. You need a keystone habit that will get you in a direction. A keystone habit is a major habit that causes a shift in your life. The lack of major keystone habits causes you just drifting, and that makes you feel bad because you don't feel like you have structure. Structure determines function. Function determines the quality of your life. So what I'm saying today is, unless you realize that, yo, let me add some structure to my day. Grand rising melanin. Yes, that melanin is all in me, man. And I'm making waves. Shout out to Melanin Waves. So listen, what I'm saying is this. You have to figure out, yo, what can I do as a routine that every single day will kind of like boost up my confidence, just the fact that I did it. And even when I don't, I will remind myself, yo, I was like this before. I can get right back to it. I'm not going to guilt trip myself. So I'm telling you this, a simple rising routine can transform your life because you get a little win first thing in the rising. A little win says, look, you did it. You got up. We have to understand that getting up is not a privilege. Now, getting up is a privilege. Getting up is a blessing. We should wake up with our arms open. Thank God. If somebody says, what are you doing? What did you do? Well, I got up today. You are awake. That is something to be proud of. And not just the fact that you rose up, but the fact that you got out of bed. A lot of people don't have the energy to get out of bed. I've been in spaces, in times of my life, dark moments where I couldn't get out of bed. So now you have to be grateful for being. So what I'm saying is this. Not only do you do things to improve your confidence by doing them, you remind yourself that you did them before when you don't do them. That will give you enough confidence to do them again. And it's a continuous resetting process. People think life is, I have obstacles, and then I meet a solution, boom, I'm done. I overcame it. No, I have obstacle, I meet a solution, obstacle, solution. I reset, you reset. You use the seasonal changes to keep resetting because that's what's going to allow you to reflect and refresh and get back on that direction. So guess what? I found myself around this time letting down with some of the holistic habits that transform my life, like juicing and vegetables and the tea and greens and all this stuff. So what I discovered was this. I discovered I don't need to beat myself up for not doing it as much. I just need to start doing it again. So what I did was I realized that if I have a point of reset, I can transform it. How do I do that? I do that with a fast. I do it with a fast. Why? what I do is I realize that a fast, what it allows you to do, it literally allows you to get rid of certain things from your past, and it allows you to refresh. After a fast, you have a clarity of vision, you have a clarity in your mind and your body. Guess what happens now? Now, after this fast, you could stay more steadfast in your routine. Imagine if every 3 to 4 months you had a fast to refresh. Do you think you will ever go longer than 4 or 5 months in an unhealthy way? Grand Rising friend. Esther, shout out to you. Shout out to Melanin. Shout out to Janelle. Everybody listening. Shout out to them. They're powerful beings changing the world. So what I'm saying is, as all of us here, as healers, as influencers, as people who transform other people's lives, and as we transform our own, what we have to remember is the standards that we've set for ourselves cannot become a stick. It must be what we call a mirror that we looked in and say, I can be better. Because I was looking at my life and I'm like, bro, you can't be part-time vegan. Like, you have to be a full-time. And I didn't like it. But then the other day I was like, oh, if this is my little struggle here, this is also my opportunity to understand what most people deal with. So now I can be able to not only navigate through the stormy waters to figure it out and learn how to stay on track with what I say I'm going to do, but also be able to bring that back to the people who deal with the same exact problems. Sometimes God is ordaining a challenge to give you the blueprint of how to overcome it and how to show somebody else how to do it. And in that very challenge, you are given the blueprint to help somebody else. And it is in helping other people out that you gain a lot of the abundance that we call wealth, as far as like the resources, the money, right? So what I'm saying is, the moment you don't blame and shame yourself, you see your own mishaps as an opportunity for development. Just because you live up to a standard does not mean you need to make this standard a rock that you beat yourself to death with. Now, when you look at this mirror, the mirror says, look at your face. Now, I need you to look at it. Whether you got boogers, guess what? You're not looking at the boogers to say you ugly. You got to look at the boogers to take that sucker out. You're not looking at your eyes to say, man, you dirty. You're looking at your eyes to clean them up. You're not looking at the bag underneath your eyes to say, man, look at your face. You're saying, man, you need more sleep. So I need you to use your standards as a mirror to transform, not as a stick to beat yourself to death. Because guess what that does is, the more you beat yourself up, the less energy you have to act. So somebody says, well, I hold myself to the standard of responding a certain way. Well, guess what? You're a human being. People are going to get on your nerves. Sometimes you're not going to respond the way you want to respond. But guess what? Remind yourself, I'm a human being. I just recognize I didn't respond the way I wanted to. And guess what? It's okay. I don't need to do nothing about that. But now I choose. I'm going to respond differently. Like, for me, one of the challenges I've had was my desire to be perfect, just because I'm striving I'm striving to be the best version of me. Now I'm realizing sometimes it's becoming a desire to be perfect that is that is unachievable. You will never be perfect. And that, knowing that, I'm embracing the dark and light sides of me to say that, oh, even though I am not perfect, I am realizing my mishaps, and every day I am not missing the opportunity to happen. And that is consciousness, not missing the opportunity to happen the way you want to. Some people say things just happen. Well, things can happen just if you just intentionally make it happen. So what I mean is, with more intention, just like Esther just said, once you have an intention behind certain things, you transform everything for you. Intention is everything. Intention is everything. What do you choose to accept in your life? What do you choose not to accept? Not utilizing any of it as a stick, but as a mirror. So now next up, somebody says, you know what? I fasted. What do you do now? After your fast, you now go to a plant-based diet, a routine that fuels growth. What I love to do the most is the intermittent fasting schedule. It transformed my life because I haven't eaten nothing yet, but but I had a vegetable juice, which means every single day I get a chance to clear out my arteries. The sludge in my blood no longer there. Every single day I give my stomach a chance to digest the foods. I get my body, my mind, and spirit a chance to digest certain emotional states. And I'm not eating first thing in the morning to suppress my emotions or to eat myself out of one. When I eat, I am eating to live. I'm no longer living to eat. So after I've learned that, I say, boom, plant-based diet, and then I get on my fasting, my juicing, my blending. In my life, you get on this routine. Now, what do I do also? I section out time here, y'all. I section out time to get outside. As simple as all I do, I make sure I garden for a certain amount of time. Somebody says, why do that? You want to be in touch with nature. Nature will transform you because you see the transformation in nature. You see how it works. Nature has so much wisdom to teach you. But you have to cultivate nature. That's when you'll get the lessons. So I like to also do things that allows me to free my mind. I found gardening to be one of those things. You can pick that up too. So somebody says the subject of this is this. Give yourself credit for the good things. And once you realize that you are out of track, take initiative to change the story. And you can transform your life. I'm telling you this. If you remain in guilt, shame, blame, you will never surpass those emotional states to get the courage. Courage is the threshold emotion that transforms you from a limiting state of being to empowering states of being. So what I'm inviting you all listening to the podcast is to do this. Find the courage today to forgive yourself so you can grow. Find the courage today to say, hey, let me give myself credit for all the great things I've done, for the work I've put in. Give myself credit for this year. Give myself credit for the steps I've taken. Let me pat myself on the back. Let me give myself a hug. Let me congratulate myself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, man, Ed, I am proud of you for this. I'm proud of you for that. I'm happy you did this. You are amazing. You have to speak those things into your life and don't have to feel weird about it. I'm telling you, that is the truth. Once you start to do that more often, watch things transform for you. Don't take my word for me. Don't take my word for it, because I'm not telling you things because I'm perfect. I'm telling you because I had to discover these things in order to stay sane. These things keep me vital. I find them out because I'm the guy who's blamed, shame, guilt myself. I found out because I was the guy who woke up empowered and went to sleep in shame. I was the guy, and sometimes that guy comes up who would wake up and think like, yo, I'm about to empower so many people, and before I go to sleep, I'm like, yo, did I even empower anybody? But I did. I just didn't see the actual result of that empowerment. And every time that I woke up empowered and went back to sleep in shame, I programmed myself to get up drained. So don't wake up empowered and go to sleep in shame because you don't see the result of your empowerment. You got to remember that consistency, the journey itself is the result. The result of your continuous action is the action itself before you even get the result. Somebody says, what do you mean? Because you're not creating a future, you're creating a life. And your life only happens now. So I used to always look at, I'm doing this show, but this show don't got millions of views. No, I'm talking to somebody right now, and they're teaching me some dope wisdom. I used to be like, I'm doing Rise and Prime. There's only 3 people in my Zoom meeting. No, I'm meditating right now. It's fueling my spirit, and those 2 people are getting empowered. Or I'm doing a live video right now. There's only 4 people watching. No, I'm tapping into my spirit. I am giving you a blessing. I'm being a blessing to my own spirit by being here. So the journey in itself without the result is a result if you realize that, this is my life and I'm choosing to invest it in this way. And because this investment is in this way, it's better because of it. So the fact that you're going up and going to the gym and you're like, I haven't lose 40, 50 pounds. No, you're actually feeling really good right now working out. I'm breathing, but I still experience anxiety from time to time. But right now you're not experiencing it. So I want you to realize that the moment you see the journey to be the end, not a means to an end, but a means to a way of living, your life transforms because you're not expecting what comes out of it. It is what's happening during it. I used to feel so bad when I showed up and there was like 0 people here. I showed up today for the first 7 minutes. There was 0 people. I said, I'm going ham. Like there's 20,000 watching. Why? Because I realized that every single day I show up and do a live video, it doesn't matter who shows up. I'm showing up. I'm practicing. I'm speaking to thousands of millions of people because you never know when somebody's going to watch what you're doing. So I want to remind you, you're posting. You're working on your business. You're working on your brand. Don't stop doing it. Consistency is worshipped. At the end of it, we don't worship nobody. We worship the fact that they were consistent enough to get to that point, and we want to know how they got there when we didn't realize it was the fact that they showed up every single day, regardless of. When I used to wake up empowered and went back to sleep in shame was because I was waiting for a result. But the moment I saw that the actions by itself was the result, I had a deeper sense of purpose. Because what I know for sure is that there is some kid across the world right now listening to me about what I went through, and it's impacting their life. And that's all that matters. Whether I get a dime for that, I am more wealthy empowering souls than I would be empowering my bank account. I want us to all say this. You are more wealthy empowering souls than you would be empowering your bank account. Somebody said, I got to make bread. Of course you do. But what I'm saying is true wealth does not come from what you have. It comes from who you are and how you give what you have. And because of that, you will be abundant. You will be blessed. So I want to remind the people who say, man, I wake up every day, I go in on my dreams, but it's not working like just keep growing. Keep growing, keep doing the work, keep showing up. And I know you have standards and values that hold you up to certain so that you don't fall. But I want you to remind you, those are only meant to keep you on track. They're not meant to hit you in the head. The moment you change the way you look at things, what you look at will change. The moment you switch from blame, shame, and guilt into courage is the moment you will courageously act on everything you need to. And you will get out of the spirit of procrastination to the spirit of action and continuous determination to get to your goal. Because guess what? You're going to have a level of consistency that is unlike any other. So with that being said, y'all, this message is a reminder, to your spirit to stop hitting yourself in the head with the standards you've built because of the growth you've had. Even the standards you have is the result of your growth. So even when you go back and say, I'm not living up to my standards, I need you to just be proud that you set them up. And in that pride, you'll be able to act. Now, why is pride? Pride is a second away from apathy. Best that you're prideful. Somebody says, well, pride is a sin. Well, staying too much in it gets you too much in the ego, which is why it becomes one. But pride is a level emotion that comes from pride. Now I'm proud of myself. Oh, I'm grateful for it. Oh, now, you know what? I'm courageous enough to act. We have to have a level of pride. Without it, it's hard for us to even get away from apathy. So with that being said, powerful beings, if you want to work and grow with me, if you want to develop more of this mentality, this mindset, get fueled up, get pumped up, every single day I have something called Rise and Prime, y'all. And I'm inviting y'all to join me every rising at 7 a.m. Eastern time for Rise and Prime. This is going to help with these reminders, with the priming of your brain, so that way you can keep transforming your life. That way you could keep transforming those emotions. You can keep letting the issues out of your tissues so you don't get sick. So what we do is, this rising routine starts like this. First is we have a mental health check-in. First you have to check in where you're at so you can determine where you want to go. Then we have mindful movement. So I literally teach you ancient exercises, medical qigong that restores and rebalances your qi, which is your life force energy. By doing so, you will literally bring more vitality to your body, because those emotions you're housing, like anxiety in your shoulder, fear in your kidneys, anger in your liver, worry in your spleen, All of those things are housed here. So when I'm talking about shame, blame, and guilt, these things are housed within you. So I teach you exercises to move them out of you. And not only do I teach you physical exercises, breathing patterns, but I help you with certain affirmations. We do affirmations together. So saying these powerful affirmations then transforms your subconscious brain, subconscious mind. So not only do we have the affirmations, but then there's a personal development side. Grand Rising Queen. Shout out to Zipporah. So as we do the affirmations, after you've transformed your energies, your manifestation power gets more clear and you're able to manifest more and more. So if you want a rising routine that could transform your life, if you just want to try this out, if you always saw Rising Prime and you don't know what it is, I'm inviting you to join us in the Rising to get a way to get rid of stuck emotions in your body. Whether you're having a lot of pain in your shoulders and your back, I literally can show you how to get rid of this pain, because this pain is actually emotions that's stuck. So we can get rid of those stuck emotions by just a couple of breathing patterns, exercises, affirmations, also tapping. There's tapping, acupressure, and all of that is available for y'all to tap in, okay? So if you want to join us, now you want to go to riseandprime.co. Now, Melanin said, can you make a second group for the West Coast people? I can't make a second group for the West Coast people, but there is always a replay of Rising Prime. Okay, there's a replay on the app. I have a full-on application when you join the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe. Hey, what's up, Jet? So once you join the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe, you get access to an offline community. I have hundreds and hundreds of videos, from meditations to affirmations to all sort of book reviews, from the detox, from the fast I talked to you about. All of it is there, yo. I mean, super powerful. I have the Qigong classes, which means all of those things are there for review. I also have classes on the weekends. I have workshops. All of this comes by joining the tribe. So before we go today, I want to see who in here would benefit from a health community. Like, imagine if you had like a health support group for your life. What if you had also a coach as well? Would you benefit from that? Like, would you benefit from medical exercises that can help you release pain, stress, anxiety? Would you benefit from a fast or a detox every quarter? We do that. Would you benefit from recipes? Would you benefit from affirmations? Would you benefit from a community of people that can help you? Would you even benefit from learning how your mind works, how your body works? Would you benefit from learning how to deal with things like anxiety and stress and how to dismantle worry? If you would benefit from any of those things, if you would benefit from a rising routine, a keystone habit that's going to transform everything for you, I'm inviting you all today, like right now as we speaking today, I'm inviting you all to join the tribe. The Holistic Lifestyle Tribe is a community that is offline that you can tap into, that will give you a tool belt for your growth. Starting next week, we're introducing workshops from other wellness professionals who are coming in and teaching you what they know about wellness. So this community is not just surrounded around me. This is other people coming in and sharing insight with you around this field and how to grow and develop. So if you're looking for a community, a vibe, a tribe that you can vibe with, yo, I tell y'all right now, you don't want to miss out on this. Go to holisticlifestyletribe.com. Sign in right now. And if you're about to do this, you're like, yo, I want to join, man. You know what? Forget it. I'm going to tap in. Let me know, because what I'll do is, if you're really down, a trial for y'all. Okay? I'll even open up a 7-day trial. You could try it out for free. Right? Go to holisticlifestyletribe.com to join the tribe and get access to the Rising Prime gatherings, the Holistic Book Club. You get access to the seasonal fast and detox that we have. You're going to get access to meditations, to Qigong classes, and a community of people that will be able to support you. So once again, y'all, thank y'all for watching Ed Talks Daily. You can find this podcast by going to edtalksdaily.com or go to holisticlifestyletribe.com and subscribe and join the tribe. Okay? So with that being said, remember, you have the unlimited power in you to achieve and create and cultivate the person that you are and the person that you want to be. First, you have to believe it in order to achieve it. Until that happens, the world forever miss all your gifts, all your talents, and all the great things that you have to offer. So remember, let your light shine. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. It's the Holistic Motivator, and thank y'all for tapping into this episode. You hear? Peace.